Are you secure in your energy? Are you secure in your resilience, your independence? If God's nature takes effect, or if bad actors come in and maliciously attack the grid. This is something we have seen over and over again. Really, over the last 10 or 15 years, we've seen this more and more and more. We've seen terrorist incidents. We've seen people attacking electrical grids and facilities. And this is why this is so important. This is why we constantly talk about energy independence, but we also talk mainly about being independent and resilient yourself. This is really the crux issue of our time, in a sense, whether it's being independent as a country, but also, really more importantly, independent yourself. Again, if you are independent yourself, if you are resilient yourself, there's not a lot of things that matter at the end of the day, right? You can shut the social media off, you can shut the TV off, you can shut everything down, and it doesn't matter because you yourself can take care of yourself, your family, and the people around you, your neighbors, your community. As we know, in survival situations, is the number one most important thing, more than anything, more than water, more than food. Because again, if you have a strong network of people that are like-minded, helping each other, you can get food, you can get water, you can team up, you can do things. And being a lone wolf is not the answer in just hunkering down and doing nothing and just hoping that you're just going to insulate yourself. That's not the ideal scenario. You do not want to do that. So we have, vandals. Again, the headline from this morning, and I believe this from the Blaze. Vandals attacked 4 power substations on Christmas, 17,000 without electricity. And this happened in Washington. And this is just continually happening. And I, quite honestly, I've known about this stuff for years, and this stuff is happening. This is why we've been getting prepared for over a decade now, preparing our family, getting independent, getting resilient, just in getting resources and building up community, like-minded people. I just really hadn't been as aware of all the little incidences that have been happening, especially recently, and how easy this truly is. And whether these are people that are coordinated, that are planning bigger things as we go forward. We know World War E, World War III, it would be numbers and digits, and that's going to be this cyber warfare, bio warfare, and not this necessarily this kinetic warfare that we think of, not what's happening in Russia, in Ukraine, excuse me. This is going to be a different battle. And it's a misinformation battle. It's a cultural battle. It's a battle for information in our heads. And like I said, it's going to be bio warfare, medical warfare, going to be cyber warfare, going to be energy warfare. This is going to, the U.S. weaponizing the dollar, countries weaponizing their money. That's what this war is going to be. It's already being fought. Excuse me. This war is being fought everywhere on all these different planks already. And this, I think it was a very alarming article. And I have another one here at the end that it links to, just to show you the amount of other attacks on grids that have been going on, and how susceptible we are, and how easy this is to take out. And like I said, this has been happening for over a decade. These planned attacks or people just doing things. I mean, these aren't generally like kids, just like, oh, hey, I'm going to go like mess with this power plant, take out this power plant. Like that, there's not a lot of teenagers or like little kids that can do stuff like that. Like let's be really honest here, and let's prepare like it's not. Whether it is or it isn't, doesn't matter. Let's prepare. This is happening way too much. And this is why, like I said, we're constantly saying, get independent, get resilient. I don't know what the downside, I don't know what would be bad about preparing, getting independent, getting resilient. So this is, again, an incident after incident after incident. It kept happening in the middle of the night. And there were 4 attacks, right? So 4 different substations, and thousands of people are without power. And like I said, this has been happening. And again, they go in here with the usual stuff. And this is how you really know that, again, the governments aren't there to do anything for you, right? Governments are not there to do anything. Governments are there to work at the behest of the people and just govern and uphold the rule of law, secure the borders, and provide for some type of military at least. Like that's it. That's literally what was only thing that was outlined was do those things. That's it. And now you think about all the things they have their hands in now, bee-friendly highways and salmon expeditions and entitlements galore and stealing our currency to go send to other proxy wars. I mean, you think about the insanity we are and how far removed we are from the founding, what made us a great country, an exceptional country. And so now you have stuff like this, like politicians coming in here and like, oh, this is, people targeting faith-based institutions, and they're targeting certain people. And, it could be right-wing extremism. What are you talking about? Like this is, again, how you know that you're onto something when there's smoke, because you have people that are just that intellectually dishonest, or they're just that moronic and they have such a low intelligence that they just willingly believe whatever the narrative, the puppet masters at the top are spewing out, and they just parrot those same things. That's truly mind-blowing. I gotta find it here. Oh yeah, extreme right wing. The media basically pointing fingers. The extreme right wing, likely due in part to a terrorism advisory bulletin. What are you talking about? I mean, it's talk about obfuscation. Obfuscating reality. I mean, we have serious problems here with the grid, and I'm gonna show you this other one. So at the bottom it says there's other text. So this is you have serious problems going on, and how again let's take it back. I take it all back. Let's just say it is right-wing extremists. Let's say it's left-wing extremists. Let's just say it doesn't matter. Let's say it's people from the Middle East. It doesn't matter. Like, this is how easy and susceptible our grid is, and how vulnerable people can be. 45,000 people being without power here, North Carolina, South Carolina, Oregon, Washington, all over the last month. And this was a couple weeks ago. So this didn't even account for yesterday's attacks. So this is mind-blowing, and the fact that we are just willy-nilly just kind of like whatever, like, we're gonna blame these people over here, and we're gonna blame those people because it helps me politically just to get power and laud it over people. That's where we are as Americans. We can't just say, oh my gosh, it was people who hate us, it was left-wingers, it was right-wingers. Like I said, it could be any of those groups of people, but it doesn't matter, because look at all the people, look at all the attacks going on, all the grids going out. And this is happening seemingly more and more and more. Obviously, this is just, half dozen at least, just in the last month. So buckle up, get prepared. I've been saying this for a while, about 10, 12 years since the last crash. And I saw how people responded to that. And I saw how people responded to the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, and people just lapping up socialism and lapping up government-run healthcare. And now we're seeing the ramifications of that. COVID is one of the big symptoms of that. And just how that was handled, and how people are at each other's throats, and doctors, the doctors don't know what to do because they're being employed by the government, pseudo governments, because the companies they work for are in bed with. Dr. Drew just talked about this on one of the spaces the other day. How we're so backwards. We are so backwards from how we should be, but it's because we let government get into bed with everything and everyone. They're in bed with the car companies. They're in bed with the pharmaceutical companies. They're in bed with everyone. So it's very hard to find truth and reality and do the right thing, because government is just constantly in there, and government's never incentivized to do anything correctly, right? They're only incentivized to help themselves get more power. So even if there's good people in all these organizations, in pharma, in the military, in teaching, in tech, or whatever, in the car industry, it doesn't matter, because you get corrupted. Eventually you're doing things, and you're forced to the barrel of a gun to do things you don't want to do. That's just a fact of life. Like, that's just going to happen. That just happens because you're trying to save yourself. You're trying to save your job. And you're trying to save your family. You're making justifications for yourself that, I got to do this. Well, just one time. So I've been saying this for a long time. I've been seeing this coming for 10, 12 years, since the 2009, 10, the healthcare rammed down everyone's throats. No one asked for. We've seen it with the 2012 election, people not understanding. We had the Occupy Party and Tea Party protests going on simultaneously, two sides of the same coin, and yet we re-elected the same people to power at that very time in 2012. That makes zero sense. I mean, that literally makes zero sense. One person was getting 10, 20, 30,000 person crowds to their things. Sound familiar? And the guy was a terrible candidate, Romney, and yet he still lost to the people who were very unpopular and ramming things on people's throats, and people all over the country are protesting. So just, your spidey sense has to go up and say, things don't add up. They're just very interesting. So again, I've been saying this, civil unrest is going to increase. There's going to be more and more civil unrest. There's going to be more crazy things happen, because when people, and especially government, keeps obfuscating truth from people, they start to lose their mind. They tend to just lose it eventually, because they know things aren't right, right? We have God-given faculties, higher faculties, 6 of them. I always forget one of them, but imagination, intuition is one of the big ones, perception, will, reason, memory. And so we have all those faculties, and our intuition just doesn't make sense. What we're seeing, what we're hearing, don't jive with intuition, what's actually going on. A lot of times, what we're seeing is different from what we're hearing. So we have actually our senses, our 5 senses, are mixed and matched and don't make sense. And then our higher faculties, the 6 higher faculties, are the intuition, your gut, your perception of things. You're just like, man, wow, we are way off. The things aren't computing in your head, so people lose their minds. Then you add on top of that currency printing, actual theft through inflation from the government, making life more and more and more and more and more expensive for the average person. So all these factors combined, boom, it's a powder keg for just mass unrest. So this is why we've been continually talking about getting prepared, getting resilient, getting independent, and even if you can do 1%, 5%, 10%, 20%, the most do as much as you can, and give yourself 3 to 6 months minimum, hopefully, a runway where you can withstand stores being completely out of stuff, or you can't there's an impasse, you can't get to a store, right? There's trees down, there's hurricanes, there's events going on, there's tornadoes, there's civil unrest in the streets, there's protests, and you can't even get anywhere. How are you and your community members start getting to know your community and the people living around you? How can you guys help each other? Who can do what? That's the most important part of what's going on. And I think this is, again, you're not going to see this talked about anywhere. You're not going to see this. My goal at the end of the day is to have freedom and liberty and free markets and capitalism in this country. And if the world has it, great. If people want to do that as well, awesome. Let's spread the message, spread the signal, spread liberty everywhere. And because I believe humans all deep down do truly want that. Some more than others, but people want that. And my job here is to continue educating people from everything I've studied and learned and experienced for the last 20 years of my life, of studying these things, reading hundreds and hundreds, thousands of books, having businesses, investing in our family office, playing professional hockey, and seeing people traveling all over the world, being to Russia, being to Sweden, being to the Czech Republic and Slovakia and you name it, Germany, Amsterdam, like being in all these places and playing hockey all over the world, Canada, everywhere, all across America. I have a wide breadth of knowledge, fortunately, that has given me an outlook to say, wow, we are going in the wrong direction, and there's going to be these massive consequences because it's based off first principles. We talk about first principles a lot. First principles give us the roadmap. It's just math. So we're going to have more and more problems because we continue doing dumber and dumber things as a society, which will ultimately, it's just like, again, the average person, going in to get a check when they're 50 years old, and they're like, yeah, you've got all these problems with your body. It's like, well, what have you been doing the last 30 years? Well, I've been eating, a burger every single day from Burger King. I've been drinking, 3 Cokes each day. It's like, well, of course, that's just math. It just, you're layering on poor choices every single day. Well, we're all doing that in some way, shape, or fashion. Our country is doing that everywhere. So we need to continue. We need to stop that trend. And first principles will be, it's the thing that gives you clear vision as to what's going on. So pay attention. We have massive things coming up. Just get prepared. Like and subscribe to the channel, please, if you like what we're doing here, and asking why, questioning everything, and arming ourselves with information and arming ourselves with preparedness. Because again, I believe truly 5% of people, 10% of people get truly prepared, get active in their local community, maybe get in their PTA or whatever it is, go to a couple meetings a year. We will automatically change this country around immediately, and it will become very fast, very swift, and freedom and liberty and common sense will reign again. And that's the beauty of it, is everyone gets to benefit from that. That means people are out of each other's lives, people are out of each other's hair, we're not telling each other what to do with our bodies. That's the beauty of all this, right? The problem with society is, for some reason, so many people think they can tell other people what to do. That's antithetical to America. It's antithetical to the Constitution, to the Bill of Rights. That is not the way to go. No one in the world, no matter, I don't care where you're from, wants to be told what to do. So how do we turn that around? Get independent, get resilient, and let's do that a little bit every single day. And it adds up to great things over time, right? Doing something extraordinary is just doing ordinary things every single day over and over again. So I appreciate you guys, your time and energy. It's the most important asset we have. Please like and subscribe. Share this important video. This is such an important video. Please share this with someone you think might get something out of this or might need to hear this. And I appreciate you so much, and we'll see you on the next one.